You're damn straight I'm going there. I'm going all the way to Montreal. Hey, hi, hello friends. Welcome back to another video. I know this video is a little bit late, especially given how fast Chantal puts out content. I'm trying to keep up, I swear. These videos are a little bit easier to get out, but I did also want to talk about Amber, and so, you know, Chantal's going to have to take a back seat sometimes. I know the crown is quite squarely on her head, but still, you know, I like talking about Amber too, and there's some interesting stuff with her happening right now, finally, after many an eon. So today I want to talk about not her first trip, but her second trip, where she just titled it Road Trip. She was quite snippy and quite angry with people, and I just wanted to go through that video and just talk about it. Now, I have condensed it down, so there will be a lot more stopping than regular. It's like 7.5 minutes or something like that of clips just from that live. And then if I can, and I haven't like talked your ear off, I might actually go through the video that she makes right after that, where she's having that chicken dinner. There's about 5 minutes of video from there too that I wanted to talk about. I might cover it here. I might make a separate video, or more than likely I might just skip it all together if this video gets too long. Chantal has too much happening, and quite frankly, I have other stuff that she has said and done recently that I want to cover as well. So with all that said, let's get into it.
Where was I last night? I passed right out. No, seriously. I was so tired. What are you talking about, medical kitten?
So, if you guys aren't aware of this fact already, Chantal has recently been doing this thing where she will, mostly she still spends a lot of her time on camera, but for some of it, she seems to be disappearing. Now, do I necessarily think that there's something nefarious behind it? Maybe, maybe not. The problem is that she's blown all credibility that she might have had at one point. So when she goes missing for a prolonged period of time, people automatically assume the worst. Should they do that? Should they give her more leniency? I really don't think so. I'm sorry, but Chantal has blown so much of the trust that people have in her, with her continuous and repetitive lying, with her irresponsible behavior, with her drug use, that at this point, people have a right to doubt her. And yes, she is still a private person, but she is putting this on the internet and she's monetizing it. And the people who are in that chat in particular are paying to make those comments. So they have a right to say and think what they want. She can choose not to listen to it, but they have a perfectly valid reason for why they are doubtful of her behavior. Oop, sorry about that.
What is going on? What?
So you can see she's actually really irritated in this video. You guys already know this is her second trip to Montreal. Why would somebody need to go to Montreal twice, back to back in a row? Now, I know that Chantal likes to get in a car and drive. It's the most classic way that she has of escaping her situation. She doesn't want to be there because it causes her discomfort, because being in her house reminds her of all the ways in which she's failed at being an actual adult. No one will convince me otherwise. But the reason why she gets into the car and drive is because it gives her something else to do. She can't really move very much, but every once in a while you crave the sensation of movement, right? She can't really walk. She can't really go for a run. This is her way of doing it. This is her way of getting in her car and making it feel like her life is going in some kind of a direction. Unfortunately, she takes her problems with her. Chantal's biggest problem is Chantal, and she can't leave herself behind, right? This reaction in particular that she's having, where she's so mad at people talking about stuff in her chat, is not unexpected. She is well due for another emotional outburst. She had that moment where she was really low. She admitted, I have a problem, right? And I know that this time it was a lot more serious because she's talking about cocaine and not food, but we know her cycle. She has the low point where she talks about, guys, I'm having a really hard time, and then she has, the trying to be better, and then she has the emotional outburst and anger, and then it leads into fuck you, it's my life. And that's what I'm thinking is going to happen next. An addiction is an addiction is an addiction, at least for Chantal. For some people, not so much, but for Chantal, whose life follows just infinite loops, this is no different from any other addiction that she's engaged in, insofar as her reaction to everything is going to be the same. Because if she had the ability to get a handle on her other addictions, the vast amounts of weed that she has, the just overindulgence in partners when she gets the chance to, the food, of course, being the big one. And by the way, apparently she's also picked up phone gambling, right? All of these things are just, they roll one right into the other. And for her, it doesn't matter which one of them she's indulging in. Her reaction is always going to be the same, because she is still the same, because she's not done the work to unpack any of the reasons why she was an addict to one of them to begin with.
What did I miss? What's a ketchup stick? I never heard of ketchup stick.
I have no idea what a ketchup stick is
Well,
either.
what is it? What's the latest rumor? I'm not aware of it. What?
So this is the thing. She's both mad about the fact that she doesn't know what the latest rumor is, but also this is the thing that I find very funny / irritating, is she talks often about how, if you guys want to talk about it, talk about it. I don't even care about the drama channels anymore. Yet here she is quite actively seeking out what they're saying, what they're thinking, what they're talking about. She wants to know. She can't not know what people are saying about her. And it's such a toxic way to be. Right? I've said often that Chantel is to the internet what Gabby Hanna is to the internet. They are very much so the same person, except that Gabby Hanna happens to be thin. She's still a toxic, awful person, right? And so is Chantel. She can't not know what people are saying about her, but inevitably she can't handle any kind of criticism. So anytime they say anything, it makes her unreasonably mad. I don't really know what you thought you were going to gain by behaving this way. I don't know what you thought the win here would be. You know it upsets you. You know it triggers you. Do what's best for you. And even if you want to know, avoid it. But self-denial, delayed gratification, they're just not things that exist in Chantel's world.
You guys believe what you hear first before you ask me about it.
Because we can't trust your word. How am I supposed to take your word for anything? You're a liar. You're a self-admitted filthy liar. So I can't take your word for shit. Of course I'm going to listen to other people. You can see the rage in her face. It's just building. See it at every comment that comes
bullshit.
in.
It's complete. That's why I fucking can't stand that fucking person. They fucking lie about everything. You guys just believe lies. It's bullshit.
Here, I think she's talking about French Fried Girl. If you guys don't know, she's another channel. I haven't watched everything by her. Some stuff I've watched, and she was very, very much so on point in calling out Chantel's addiction. She was one of the channels, I think, that was the most outspoken about it, and she was right, And Chantel got a lot of negative feedback from her audience about that, because they went to bat defending Chantel. They called French Fried Girl all kinds of names and saying, she's awful. How dare you say this? You're spreading rumors. This is slander. And then it turned out to be true. And Chantel never apologized to her audience for putting them in that situation. They defended her. They defended you against somebody because you said that they were wrong. You said that French Fried Girl was making shit up. And it turns out she was right. She was right on the money with her assumption. And her audience got diddly shit for it.
Seriously, I don't know how you watch her. She's full of shit. So you go there for truth because you think I'm a liar, but you're just met with even more lies.
Well, so the key word here being even more lies. I just want to flag that really fast, right? Because she knows that she's a liar. This is her admitting it. She's like, well, I'm a liar, but they're also lying. They are not lying. They don't know the objective truth. I don't know the objective truth. This is why a lot of the times when I talk about this stuff, I'll say, hey, this is just my opinions. I don't know for sure, but this is the way it seems to me. This is the way it seems to other people. I wouldn't be surprised if she did this. I wouldn't be shocked if this was her reaction. I don't say this is the concrete truth. And that's how it is for a lot of reaction channels, right? They say that this is what I believe about the situation. But I don't know the truth. I'm not there, and I'm not you, and I don't know you, right? So I can't be lying. Lying would mean that I know the objective truth about something and I choose to make something else up about it. The only person in this situation who's lying is Chantel. The only person. Because Chantel's the only one here who knows the objective truth. So French Fried Girl could maybe be exaggerating her own opinions. She could maybe be talking out of her butt. She could be completely baseless and wrong. I don't know if she is. I'm not saying that she is. I'm just saying that that's the worst that she could be. But you can't call her a liar. We don't know the truth of the situation. You do. And you lie about it. So you're the liar. We make assumptions. The worst we can be is wrong.
Doesn't make any sense. Like, please tell me you're not that stupid 6 months ago. Give me a break.
So I don't know if she was using 6 months ago. She was definitely using something 6 months ago. I don't know necessarily if it was cocaine. But she's saying, don't tell me you're that stupid. Well, they bought what you said. So I'm guessing they're not entirely very bright.
How does she even... She doesn't know me. She doesn't know my fucking life.
Exactly, so she can't lie.
Yeah, exactly.
She can't lie. She can't lie if she doesn't know the truth.
It's all speculation, but it's like stuff that's like, you know...
Exactly. It's all speculation. It's a story about a story. When Chantel tells us something, everything I say to you guys is a story that I'm telling you about something that she's told us, right? It's my interpretation of events. This is not the news. I am not reporting the news. This is why it's a reaction. They're my opinions. They're my beliefs and suppositions. It's what I've gleaned from reading between the lines, from what I take away from it. Same way people read poetry and they get different things out of it, right? Because poetry has different meanings for everybody else. Not that Chantel is in any way similar to poetry. Well, I guess she does invoke a strong emotional response in some people. What I mean to say is it's a story that I tell about something that I have seen. Right? Everybody is doing that. So when she comes on here and she says, well, they're lying about me. No, my story could be wrong. It could be far-fetched. But once again, not a lie. Can't lie about something I don't know the objective truth of. You're the only person who knows the objective truth of something. And you have often misled and you've often lied. So.
We are going to on a long road trip again. Because we need to get some food. And, yeah.
Do you see how soft she is about that? Because we need to get some food. Nobody goes 4 hours out of their way just for food. I absolutely refuse to believe that even Chantel would do that. We've seen her in the past when she wants something, when she doesn't know what to do. She'll just aimlessly drive around. She goes back to her hometown a lot, but I think that's because it holds like a special place in her heart, like nostalgia-wise. You know, it's where she grew up. It's where she had some of her most healthiest, most able years. And so I think she wants to go back to those places to recreate that feeling. It's why I think she returns over and over again. But nobody just goes to a town 4 hours out of their way just because they want something to eat. That's not the rational, reasonable response. Now, I don't know if she's going there for drug-related purposes. I personally think that she is, but I have no evidence of it. It's just how Chantel strikes me. That being said, if you are just going 4 hours out of your way because you want to escape your life and stuff your face, that also speaks of a very unhealthy psychology. It's not healthy either way. I just don't know which unhealthy avenue she's choosing at this moment.
So, this is why I look like crap. Because, you know what? I don't know. We're gonna go.
She looks like crap every day.
Food at this place. It's gonna be a surprise.
Oh yeah, of course. The reason she's keeping it a surprise is not because she doesn't want us to know. Chantal's terrible with giving us surprises. Every time she did one of those time warp videos, she would like inevitably give away what she was doing well before we ever got there. This is not that. If you want my opinion, she's going there for drug-related reasons, and whatever place she sees that she happens to like, she's just going to end up there, and she's going to be like, oh, this is the place. This is the place I wanted to tell you guys about. I did a quick search to look for the actual restaurant that she went to, and I'll tell you guys right now, it is not like the most well-known restaurant. It is not like the most talked about restaurant. There were a billion other places she could have gone to before this one. So why this place? The only thing that comes to my mind is that this place was close to wherever she actually needed to go.
So yeah, medical, who was it that was accusing me? Can you, like, make sure that things are true before you accuse me of things and come in here and, like, you have some explaining to do?
Okay. How are we supposed to know the truth here? Because you lie and everybody else doesn't know the objective truth. So we can ask you about it, and that's pretty much it. How else am I supposed to exactly verify that it's the truth before talking to you about it? Because obviously, your word can't be trusted. Who else in your life should we ask? I guess we could ask Pete. He's been pretty upfront, but you don't tell him everything either. So what she means is that to only take her word for it. And if she ever changes the story, well, can't hold me accountable. You know how addicts are. You know how us addicts are.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. When you're asking people for money, yeah, you do. You do have to explain yourself. You do have to explain your behaviors. Do people believe that they're giving you money to pay your rent and you're fucking taking that and putting it up your nose? People absolutely have the right to question you on your bullshit. Absolutely, 100%. I've gone back and forth, and I haven't been I haven't been very like opaque about it. I've been pretty honest with you guys that I'm very conflicted on how to feel about Chantel continuing to receive like super chats and continuing to have support. On the one hand, a girl's got to eat. She needs a place to live. Being homeless would genuinely exacerbate a lot of her mental health conditions, and I do think it would make everything significantly worse. And she would become a drain, even more so than she is right now, on both the medical system and her family. So that puts you in the position of, well, what do we do? Do we keep giving her money? Well, this also makes me feel weird because she could be using that money to actively engage in buying and using hard drugs. So I don't know where I lie. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm very, very uncomfortable with the entire situation. And genuinely, I haven't been able to make my mind up one way or the other. Sometimes I go one way, sometimes I go the other way. Right now, I'm going more towards the fuck you, your living situation is not my problem, but people shouldn't be feeding your drug addiction. Because if she's homeless, at least she isn't dead, which is where I genuinely think this will end up, right? So I don't know. I got a little off topic, but to bring it back to what she was saying is, yeah, you do have to explain yourself. When you're a liar and you're asking people for money to feed your drug habit, you do have to explain yourself, right? You can't just be like, well, I know I've lied to you and I have said that I'm not going to be using your money for drugs, but I am using your money for drugs and I've admitted to it in the past, but please continue to give me money, and on the off chance that I am telling the truth, I'll be vindicated. Like, no, you have to explain yourself. I'm sorry, but you have to earn back that trust, and you haven't. You haven't earned back anything yet. It's been only, 2 weeks since she admitted that she was doing hard drugs for 2 months, that everybody who was saying negative things about her was right. Where do you get off? Where do you get this sense of entitlement that you are just owed our forgiveness? Get out of here.
You're not a hater, but you watch, like, people who are pretty, make up dumbest lies ever.
The reason why people watch reaction channels, Chantel, is because they don't have anywhere else to go and engage with on these topics, right? People watch you because genuinely Chantel's, like, the larger beats of Chantel's life are interesting, right? Like, what is happening with her day to day is incredibly mundane and boring. But when it comes to the psychology of someone who is essentially a 300 plus pound shut-in, living with her ex-fiance who she cheated on with, and gorging herself almost every day on massive amounts of food, is interesting. The same reason why people watch trash television, same reason why people watch My 600 Pound Life. It's sad, but it is also fascinating that people can just choose to live like that, right? And yeah, some people watch because they relate to it. I relate to Chantel. I've been pretty honest with you guys about that. I relate to Amber Lynn. I've been pretty honest about that too. They see aspects of themselves in these people, and that's why they want to come here and they want to talk about it and they want to do these things. But that said, people aren't there just to talk. YouTube is a very interactive medium. It's why ads are such a big problem on YouTube. That's why you have to disclose it, because there is this air of authenticity. There is this air of individualization and this personal interaction that you're having with the creator. You talk to the creator talks back to you in a lot of aspects. That's why, like, it's such a big problem when you have things like parasocial relationships. So when you come on here and you talk about, when you come on here and you behave like this, and when you come on here and you're like, well, you watch other other reactors and you listen to toxic people. I might be toxic, maybe. I don't know. I don't think I am, but I could be. But I'm giving people a place to vent their thoughts and frustrations. Frustrations that I sometimes share, but I also give just as much space to people who don't like me. If you want to come on my channel and you want to dislike my videos and you want to talk about why you think I'm wrong, I have always been 100% honest that you are free to do so. I've had multiple comments that have been held back that I've released later on whenever I check my held comments section that will say things like, oh, just another leech of a reaction channel, or look at this fat ass, or whatever. And I don't care. You're free to dislike me. I'm not here to stop you from disliking me. I'll delete things that have sketchy links, porn, or very few blocked words. But everything other than that, I don't give a shit. Because people should be allowed to engage in discourse, even if it's discourse that they dislike. That's why they go to reaction channels. That's why they go to Kiwi Farms. If you left your channel open, you'd probably get less of it. I mean, you might have to, God forbid, interact with some of those comments, but you'd probably get less of it overall. And also, we probably wouldn't have as much of a space.
I feel like I have to explain myself. Like, I already did, basically. And if you believe that or not is your problem, you know?
The thing is, Chantal, that you're not saying that whether you believe that or not, right? Everybody believed you when you said that you were taking drugs. But you also said that, you know, drug addicts lie about taking drugs. So now we're in this position of, do we believe you when you say that drug addicts lie about taking drugs? Or do we not believe you and say, no, Chantal's going to tell us the truth, even if she is taking drugs? We're in a very weird position. You've put us in that position. I don't believe anything Chantal says. I think a really big portion of my videos is basically trying to suss out the truth from the lies. I think it's one of the reasons people like to come here, is because it can be hard. Even for me, sometimes I'll get things wrong. Absolutely. Or I'll watch somebody else's reaction to the situation and they'll say something and I'm like, fuck, I didn't even think of that. You know? Because obviously Chantal lies all of the time. And parsing out the truth from the lies is a very difficult thing. So, I don't know. It's just...
It's not like I did anything super horrible. Like, I didn't, like, hurt anybody.
Okay. Remember those 2 animals that she killed on the road? That could have easily been a person. It's dark in certain parts of Gatineau, okay? I haven't been in quite a few years, but I have been to... I've been to the Gatineau Park area. I've been to Montreal and Quebec quite a few times, right? I'm Canadian, if people aren't aware. And so I'm familiar with that area. Those streets that she's taking, they tend to be dark at night. She could just as easily have run over someone. She drives recklessly. She's on her phone all the fucking time, reading comments, responding to people who are sending her super chats. She does this while driving. She does this while eating. She does this while being on drugs. And absolutely, she's driven while being on drugs. 100%. When people come on here and they tell me, oh, well, she wasn't high. Oh, how can you prove that? The half-life of a lot of these drugs are sooner than her timeline. Chantal doesn't care enough, doesn't put in enough effort to actually talk about the way that she constructs her lies, right? So she'll say, oh, I did these drugs, and then the next morning I left. But the half-life of some of these drugs is like 24 hours. So they'll still be in her system. She might not be like feeling the effects of it, but she could have impaired judgment. And not to sound like a narc and a cop, but bus driving is still drunk driving. And she 100% deserves to have her license taken away. And I know that for someone in her precarious mental health situation, and for someone who already has the tendency to self-isolate, taking away her car from her would genuinely mean making her bedbound. I 100% believe this. Because if you take away her car, you take away her one outlet to get out and do things. She's not going to walk outside of her house where people who see her on a daily basis could potentially see her waddling. She's way, way too self-conscious for that. So she'd never go out and continue doing the walking. She would stay indoors all day, continue to order out, continue to eat, gain like hundreds of pounds, and become immobile. I 100% believe this. But that doesn't mean that her poor decisions should equal putting other people's lives in danger. And that's what she does every time she live streams while driving. Every time. Every time.
You know, like I'm having problems and I open up a lot, but I don't have to explain myself, you know.
This idea that she opens up a lot, but she doesn't need to explain herself. You can talk about whatever you want on your channel. I'm not even sitting here saying that you need to address it now. But what I'm saying is people are going to want you to address it, and people deserve to be able to ask. people deserve to know that the money that they're giving is not going towards something that's harming your life, right? When you're asking people for money, there is a greater level of accountability, 100%. When you're asking people to fund your life, you owe them something in return. Now, I'm not saying you owe them everything. I'm not saying that she deserves no sense of privacy. But when you come on here and you disclose this information, then you cannot walk back that disclosure and say, well, I know I already told you guys about it, but now I no longer want to discuss it. You opened this can of worms. You opened Pandora's box. Take ownership for it. That's all I'm saying.
For things that I'm going through.
No, you do.
I didn't see that super chat, sorry. I'm driving.
Yeah, she's driving, guys. That's why she hasn't been reading any of the comments and responding to them and popping off this whole time. She's driving right now, you know? She's really concentrating on the road. Fucking get out of here.
I'm getting a friggin' something at McDonald's.
So see, the thing about Chantal and McDonald's is that McDonald's is her rage food, right? It's what she eats when she's feeling very angry. If we are to believe her, and I don't think we should believe her, she's going to Montreal so that she can get food. She's going to get food here as well. So she's going to eat and then she's going to go eat again. And I don't think that's because she's actually hungry right now. She just got like a Twisty Misty on the drive-thru. Right? That's the first part of it that we saw, right? I think the reason that she did that is because she's angry. And when she's angry, she wants to eat McDonald's. It's a repeated pattern with her. If you guys remember the rage-filled McDonald's when she stuffed an entire fucking Boston cream donut in her mouth. Absolutely awful.
We're getting food on the way to food.
Yeah. She's getting food on the way to food. Or food on the way to drugs. I have no idea. I personally put my money on the second one, but...
It's not like we're eating a lot. This is an appetizer. Here you go. Cheeseburgers. Oh, it's fresh.
Does Chantal know the concept of fresh? It's hot, but hot and fresh aren't the same thing. That is absolutely gross. Like, the burger close-up that I'm seeing right now is just, I am not a fan of McDonald's. You guys already know. I will eat it if I'm on a road trip or something like that, but I don't actually go out of my way to get anything from McDonald's. I don't like a lot of fast food, very frankly. I like Taco Bell. But for the most part, I'm not a big fan of any fast food. I just don't like it. It's not my thing. That said, McDonald's, I think, is like the worst of all of the fast foods. Most of their food is like, comes in frozen. It's like reheated, refried a bajillion times. And by the time you actually get to eat it, it's less food and more just cardboard. So when she's sitting there, she's like, oh, it's hot and fresh. I'm like, ma'am, I don't think you understand the concept of fresh. And also the fact that her name is Foodie Beauty will forever bother me. Forever, 100% of the time.
Bye.
Do you see that immediate serotonin hit? I'm leaving this clip in here because I want you to see the prolonged contact that she's making, eye contact with the phone while she's driving. She's reading. Her face just changed just now. She read something that she didn't like. She's stuffing her face with food. Eating with one hand, like,
I'm not aware of?
She's eating with one hand. She is, like, looking at the phone and reading, and she only has one hand on the wheel, right? Those are all, like, all of that is wrong. She shouldn't be doing any of that, but she's doing all of the things. And then so she wants to come on here and she wants me to say that I've never, like, driven under the influence. I've never driven high. I've never put anybody's life in danger. Get the fuck out of here. If she got into an accident with somebody else, she might walk away okay, but the other person might not. You could kill someone. It is unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
What tea? Oh, yeah, we've already debunked that.
See, she needs to know. What she's saying debunked that. She's saying about the 6 months where apparently she was doing drugs, which is something that's been proposed. I don't know the truth of it. And she says, oh, we've already debunked it. Debunked it with what? You just said that the other person is lying. Well, you're lying too. How do I know who's lying? Debunking implies that there were receipts or proof. There was no debunking. There wasn't even bunking. Nothing was bunked. All I know is that she's saying one thing, somebody else is saying another. But the other person has plausible deniability. French Fry Girl could potentially be wrong because French Fry Girl is, fun fact, not Chantal. But Chantal knows the truth. So Chantal could very well be lying, and she's been known to lie. Chantal has reasons to lie. She's a known liar. So it's hard for me to believe her.
Why are people making up things like that are not even true? Things.
I mean, it's not. Once more, I know I've said it a bajillion times here, but it's not making up things if you don't know the objective truth. It's just making an assumption that might be false. There's a big difference between that, okay?
I just wanted to.
No, they're not.
There's no trap house. That's even a fucking bullshit lie.
So I looked up what the definition of a trap house is because I want. I am a very. I'm very lame and I don't understand a lot of like colloquial references sometimes, especially if they're like in rap music. I'm very removed from a lot of the aspects of that of that culture, and also I grew up very, very highly sheltered. So if there was any swearing in music, any suggestive language in music, I was not allowed to listen to it. I wasn't allowed to watch TV until I was like 12. So it was a lot. My family was a lot. But I looked up the definition of a trap house. It's somewhere where drugs are being sold. Very, very possible that that place was a trap house. His ease of access to drugs is something that speaks to me of him having a very high familiarity with drugs, right? Like I can tell you off the bat, I wouldn't know where to get cocaine if I wanted it. I don't know one person in my life who would know where to get cocaine from. I don't know. Like, I genuinely don't know. Like, I couldn't become an addict if I wanted to because I don't know how to get it. So the fact that she went to this guy and she said, hey, I want some more, and he was immediately able to procure some, that says to me that he has a very big familiarity with it. And then he had a crack pipe lying around. I just want you guys to understand, meth addicts are very, like, they're very possessive of their crack pipe. So either it was his crack pipe and he used it, or if it wasn't his crack pipe, he has enough crackhead friends that they are perfectly able to trust him and leave their crack pipes there. Now, the meth heads don't leave their crack pipes everywhere. I'm using maybe derogatory language. I don't know. Addicts, people who are addicted to meth, don't leave their pipes everywhere. I think the only reason they would leave it there was if they knew this is where they would be coming to get more drugs. So, do I believe when Chantal, when she says that it wasn't a trap house? No! She was having sex on a mattress on the floor, doing drugs by the handful. I don't, if there was like a sequel to Requiem for a Dream, that would be it.
They ended up being right about what?
The big thing.
That they think I was still doing stuff?
The big thing.
Which was obvious to a lot of people anyway.
If it was so obvious to a lot of people, your audience would have gotten it. So either they're exceptionally slow, or it wasn't that obvious and she was able to pick up on something that other people couldn't. Also, let's not forget, you primed your audience. You told everybody that all the reaction channels are liars, and it turns out they weren't lying and you were lying. Ha ha. So, no. Either you've been manipulating and gaslighting your audience into believing a narrative that isn't true and we're finally caught out on it, or they are much more perceptive, the reaction channels. Not me in particular. You know me. I have no perception. But the reaction channels who did clock you on it were a lot more perceptive than you gave them credit for. So either they're smarter than you, or you're just a very, very good liar and manipulator. You can't have it both ways.
They're not right about... I guarantee... I don't watch their stuff, but I can guarantee, like, none of what they're saying.
Oh, yeah. She doesn't watch it, but she knows.
Because it's not true, so it's not proof.
Yeah, she doesn't watch it, right? She doesn't watch any of their stuff, but she knows 100% for a fact that it's all lies. Because that's how that works. You cannot watch it and just absorb the information by osmosis, right? If you sit near a computer, you will absorb the whole entirety of the knowledge of every human person that's ever existed that put something on the internet. That's how that works. That's why she knows, even though she doesn't watch it. She 100% doesn't watch it, okay? But that's how she knows what they're saying is a lie. There's two explanations here. Either you do watch it and you know that they're lying. You do watch it and you know that they're not lying. There's also the third possibility that you don't watch it and there's people who are sending you all this information, in which case your audience sucks. But I've said that a bajillion times. I think Chantel sucks, but everyone who supports her sucks even more. So, oh, sorry, I missed a little part of it. She said that, she said something along the lines of, there's no evidence because it's not true. Well, We don't know. We don't know if it's true or not, right? We can't trust your word for it, and we can piece together what we can from your lives. You're on live a lot, but there was less information available back then. Once more, anything they're saying at most is just a wrong assumption. It's not a lie. Lie would mean that they know the truth, and they don't. You said yourself they don't know you.
Bullshit. And even where they're like, oh, they're so full of crap. If you only knew.
A woman who's had multiple bowel issues should maybe not talk about other people being full of crap, okay? I mean that literally and figuratively here.
But anyways, if people want to believe them and think I was using for 5 months, well then go ahead, I don't care.
Yeah, obviously. You're really unbothered right now.
Well, I don't want to be aware of lies that are being made up by irrelevant people.
Well, she obviously seems to already know about them. She's absorbed the entirety of human knowledge by being close to the internet. That's how she knows they're lying, even though she hasn't watched the videos. You guys, don't you already know?
Thank you very much. And what motive would they have to lie? Obviously to keep drama going for their channel.
Sure.
Nobody would watch them if they weren't talking about...
Yes, go on. Finish your thought.
Like anything to do with me or Amberlynn. Or...
Okay. Okay. See, there's a bajillion other people on the internet, and not all of them talk about Amberlynn and Chantal, right? If you guys don't know, a creator that I really like, Cringy, used to make a lot of ALR content. They deleted it recently, I think. But I'm a fairly big fan of Cringy, and I watch a lot of their stuff. I would watch almost anything they put out. So when you come to me and you say, well, they only have an audience because they talk about me or Amberlynn, first, clock the fact that she linked the two together, even though she said multiple times she hates when other people do that. Only ever link them together when it serves her purposes. Remember, guys. But also, if you have a good personality, if you have a good way of delivering information, if you're a charismatic person, people will come to you, even if your audience, even if your video ideas shift, right? So and a good example of that would also be Aphrodite's Peaches. She talks a lot about, she hasn't posted in a while, but she used to talk a lot about Amberlynn and Chantal, but she also put out a video, for example, reviewing Gabby Hanna's book, Dandelions. And I loved that video. I thought she did a fantastic job. I think she also did a video on Nixium? Cult. It's a cult. The one that Allison Mack is in. I am bad at remembering things. But she also talked about that cult. And I thought that was a great video. Both of them performed very well on her channel too. So when you come to me and you say, well, people only want to talk about it because they're talking about me and Amberlynn. No, people will come back even if it's a different topic, if they like the person who's delivering the information. Not everybody has it, I will say, right? Zachary Michael, for example, he's a very, very good presenter. He's a very good personality on camera. He's really good at it. He could talk about almost anybody and I'd probably watch him, right? I don't know if I am. I might not ever know, right? Some of my videos that when I talk about other people do well, some of them don't. Maybe I haven't found my stride. Maybe I'm just not good at it. Or maybe, I don't have what it takes. Who knows? But that doesn't universally mean that people are bad just because they're talking about you and Chantal. Fun fact, The Right Opinion has talked about Amberlynn as well. Are you saying that The Right Opinion needs Amberlynn to get views? What about Tom Harlock? Does Tom Harlock need it? No. Tom Harlock and a lot of these other creators talk about Amberlynn, and whoever they talk about Chantal is because Chantal and Amberlynn have issues. Not everybody focuses on them because they hate them, as it were. There is a lot of creators I watch who technically fall into the morbidly obese category. If you guys aren't aware, I'm a big fan of Teresa Is Dead. I love Teresa. I think she's fucking phenomenal, right? Smoky Glow, Hannah from Smoky Glow. I love Hannah. She's phenomenal, right? There's a ton of other creators I watch who all fall into that category of being on the heavier side. I don't hate them. I don't even dislike them. I love a lot of these creators. I support them monetarily. The reason I don't like Chantal is because of Chantal. I fundamentally even like Hungry Fat Chick. I think she's super sweet. I enjoy her personality. I don't like watching her eat on camera, but I don't like watching anybody eat on camera. So when you come back and you say, well, they need us to generate this drama. No, you're not that unique, right? You're awful and we like talking about it. But the reason why people like talking about Chantal is the same reason people like talking about Gabby Hanna. When you've got someone on the internet who behaves so awfully and does not seem to realize that they're genuinely being a villain, it's interesting. People find that interesting. If you had more self-awareness, I think people would find you a lot more boring. Why I don't like Life, what's it called? Amy's Life Journey or Life by Jen. Both of them have a little bit more self-awareness, and both of them tend to be a lot less brazen about their awful behavior. Even though they're morbidly obese and train wrecks in their own right. I don't care. I'm not interested. I'm not engaged.
Angie, it doesn't matter where I was on the weekend. It's no one's fucking business. That's not a matter of me being shady and like, oh, I wasn't at a hotel. So the fact that they're like, oh, she's in a hotel, duh. Like, anybody could tell you that just based on the fucking picture.
It's not that anyone could have told us that. It's that you didn't tell us that. You overshare every aspect of your life. If you had nothing to hide, why didn't you just tell us from the get-go that you were going to a hotel? You didn't. You were hiding something. Now, I don't know what that is, but given your recent drug history, I would say it's drugs. And also, once more, I'd just like to point out, she is driving on a highway right now, and she is actively responding to people's comments. Just because the camera isn't pointed at her face doesn't mean that she's no longer reading those comments, okay? Just want to point that out to everyone who's like, she's not recklessly driving. This is reckless driving. When you are distracted, when you're reading on your phone, yes, that's reckless driving, okay? She's a bad driver. She's a negligent driver, and one day she's going to get somebody or herself killed. And quite frankly, if it's just herself, then while I might feel sad for her, I will not feel as much sympathy because she's brought this on herself. But I genuinely hope that no one else ever gets hurt because of her poor, ability to make good decisions.
So, yeah, that's not rocket science debunking super detective skills. That's, yeah, okay.
Okay, but none of your audience clocked it. Apparently,
a lot of it is lies, like stuff like
they have apparently you need super detective. They think that they're super detectives because they figured out she was in a hotel room. Well, if your audience didn't clock any of that information on their own, I guess they would be the equivalent of a non-antagonist side detective in a cop show, right? So what are their names? Espinoza and Ryan from Castle.
The trap house bullshit, that's all bullshit. That's not even...
I don't think it is.
It's not even accurate.
I don't think it is.
Locations-wise.
I mean, I don't think you know what a trap house is, fundamentally. And also, let's keep this in mind. I wouldn't believe Chantel as far as I can throw her. And fun fact, my guns of steel are... more like guns of thawed chicken, right? So I'm not exactly a strong lady. Also, when you're talking about trap houses, I don't think that you would have clocked that it's a trap house. You fundamentally don't see what you don't want to see, and you are very good at deluding yourself.
Also, people are just ridiculous. You don't even know how do you know 5-6 months ago? You have no proof at all. Because it doesn't exist.
So they're wrong. At least they're not a liar.
That's not 1 minute away from Dom's. You guys don't know where he lives.
Yes, we do.
Maybe I will get off.
You literally told us where he lived. You've doxed him. Everybody knows almost everything about him. Because you doxed him. Because that's how that works. You put all of his information onto the internet. Whether it was intentional or not, it was negligent, I think, because even if you didn't want people to dox him, given the amount of information you were slowly releasing about him, you absolutely knew that it could very well happen. And that day when you were driving back from his house, all mad as a bat out of hell, that day you absolutely should have clocked that someone would have put it together. Absolutely. But you didn't because you didn't care. So don't put that on us. We do know where he lives. And very well, people could be putting 2 and 2 together. And once more, I would just like to reiterate for the 4 billionth time this video. Chantel's a liar. Cannot believe anything this lady says.
This is boring. I can't even,
If it's boring, why do we have so many views?
Chat or anything, and I don't know what to say. I'm just
Oh, sorry. I think I misunderstood that. She's saying that I think I am going to get off. I think she's really mad. This isn't going the way that she wants. She wants everyone to only ever give her ass pats. So when people come in here asking her difficult questions, she's just like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. This is so boring. I have something very important to do. Actually, I have appointments today. Actually, I'm going to go see a friend. Actually, I got to go help Pete's. And then she'll find an excuse to get off because she can't let anybody think that what people are saying are getting to her, right? Because she's a child, you see. So she will just make up a reason for why she no longer wants to be on live, and then she'll hop off. But the real reason is that she's real mad that people are clocking her on her bad behavior.
Whatever. I'm gonna be blocking people who are just like coming here to just be negative.
You think
I've seen them come in here all the time with the same.
You think everything is negative. If they aren't 100% positive and like licking your ass, you think that everybody is being negative. I do not call her names. I do not insult the way that she looks. I, for the most part, don't even insult her intelligence. I question her motives. And I don't think that that is a negative thing to do. I'm allowed to question someone's motives. And quite frankly, I think that when you've got someone who's admitted to lying on stream and does hard drugs, you should question their motives. You should hold them to some sort of accountability. Because if you don't, if you enable their behavior the way that her chat does, they might sink even further into that sort of behavior.
Negative shits. So
she needs a real friend.
So if you don't like it and you just want to be negative over and over and to be annoying, put me in a bad mood, then I'm just gonna block you.
Sure. So I watched the entirety of the video. We're at like the 45-minute mark right now. Well, I like the 50-minute mark. But I'm going to try and trim it down a little bit. There's only 5 minutes that I have to talk about anyway from the next video that she has, the Montreal chicken dinner. So I'm just going to condense this into one video. I think that'll be better. I'm probably not going to get to making a video otherwise. And her videos are so long and so mundane that I will never, ever, I think, cover one video just by itself, like that only has 5 minutes worth of stuff I actually want to talk about. I don't think it's worth sitting down and making like a 15-minute video. You know, this might be like a little bit of a longer one. You might be in for like an hour and 10 minutes or something. Let's see.
All right, so I finally got to where I'm going. Hi.
Supposedly.
Chalet barbecue.
Okay. No. So the way that she's talking about it, she knows there's people in her audience that are actually from this area. So then she says, have you guys ever heard of that? It makes it sound kind of like, oh, yeah, you know, I went to this place. It's a really good place. You guys know of it, right? You guys have heard of it too, right? Like kind of like trying to gaslight her audience into thinking that they know this place. I don't think that she actually came down here for a restaurant like this. I don't think that she's looked it up. And that's what she implied, right? Like if you were just driving there and you're like, oh, I'm just going to go to the first place that looks good. That's not what she said. She said that, hey, we're going to a place and it's a secret, implying she knew, but we didn't. So she apparently already has a plan. She'd looked it up. She's done some research on it theoretically, and she's coming here for that reason. But now here she is, and she's asking everyone, have you ever heard of this place? How did you hear about this place? You don't live in Montreal. This doesn't seem like a big enough place for it to have been giving you ads on your TV. So how do you know that this place exists? I think she just showed up in Montreal, went and did whatever business it is that she had, and then decided, oh, look, this place looks nice. There seem to be some people outside. I like chicken. And she went in. It's in a very unassuming building, too. I looked it up.
Tina, yes. Are you in Montreal, too, right now? Who's in Montreal right now? Oh.
See her surprise at the meal?
You didn't get blocked? Why, you feeling like you're going to be blocked, medical kitten? Yeah. Oh, where's the coleslaw? You don't get coleslaw with it?
Did you even read it?
For God's sake. This person needs to get away. I don't care. I have nothing to hide.
Says the woman who literally hid the fact that she was doing hard drugs for 2 months.
I also checked out that threatening comment on my fucking...
Okay. Having nose issues is a very common sign of snorting cocaine. So the fact that she's here with food right after doing this is pretty, I don't know, telling. And it's a lot. She's turning red in the face. I feel like she's in some sort of discomfort and she's trying to dislodge it. And I don't think that it's going to do anything. Also, I don't know what threatening comment she's talking about. If you guys are more aware, please let me know. I try and keep up as much as I can, but obviously I'm going to miss things, right? Like I missed stuff in my Amber Lynn video too. I thought her mom was in California, but apparently her mom's in Oklahoma. Yeah, I'm going to miss things. I've probably missed something here too. So if you guys know, please do let me know. I'm curious.
Last video. Empty threat. I don't even know what they're talking about. People think I'm coming here to... I don't know what.
Did you see? Did you see that obvious checking? She's obviously checking. She's like looking at her nose in the mirror. She's like, is it clean? Is it clean? And yeah, you could say that maybe it's boogers, but if you've just got congestion and allergies, mucus tends to be very thin and very clear. I don't think this is either one of those things. I think that she is making sure right now that she doesn't have any cocaine underneath her nose. She's already been caught out for it once.
Do stuff that I'm not doing.
You are doing it though.
Well, Lucy, what do you mean be aware of what? What are they trying to figure out? If I've been doing stuff like months ago? I don't care.
Okay. Your entire previous video was like 2 hours or an hour and a half or something, and all you did was eat and rage for the most part, right? There's a lot I cut out, and by the way, all of my videos are generally going to be edited down for brevity. I don't tend to remove context where I can help it. That's why if it's a little bit longer than maybe necessary, I leave it there in case it informs your opinion about anything that she says and in case you think I'm wrong. I don't want to take her out of context if I can help it. But if you don't care, then you wouldn't be on here first with that video and now with this video addressing it in both of them. And this video, like right at the start, she's talking about it too.
It's not true, and that's all I'm going to say about it. And if people want to believe that, then they can. I mean...
They make a more persuasive argument than you.
I don't really know what to say. Oh, I need to live for the gravy.
Yeah.
It's really stupid.
Wish you would just honestly, consistently say the truth.
Because they're full of crap.
Okay. I really wish that she'd consistently just tell the truth. And that's like all she really needs to do if she wants to get people to believe her. But she doesn't. She can't. She's like incapable of it. So when you aren't consistently honest and you've been clocked on lies several times, people are very unwilling to extend you an olive branch and listen to you and believe you when you come back on and say things like this.
They're probably either fabricated or I don't know what. Think about it.
I did. And you're a liar. That's what I thought of.
People would have noticed back then, right? If they do now?
I personally don't know if she was doing hard drugs back then. I would genuinely think not, because Chantal isn't good at self-moderating. She's not good at limiting the amount of drugs that she's doing. Like denying herself anything has never been part of her MO. So I think if she was doing drugs for 6 months, first of all, we would have seen a much heavier toll on her body. She would have lost a lot more weight. And two, I think that she would be a lot further in her addiction. We would have seen a lot more physical symptoms and mental symptoms of it. Sorry, I had to cut that out. I just need to cough. So I don't think that she has been an addict for that long. I think 2 months is probably about right, maybe even 3 months. You might be a little fudging that. But given how much weight loss she's had, it would make sense to me. It would always also kind of line up with the timeline of Dom and all of the searching for a man sort of situation. But that being said, once more, you are a liar. We will and probably can doubt you forever. And most they can be is wrong. They're not lying.
Come on. That's why I was honest. Why would you tell people that? Because I want to be honest about what I'm going through.
You weren't honest. That's the problem.
With these people, that's the thing with these people. They just, like,
people.
Like, they think you're lying about every single thing.
Because you lie all the
Everyone's
time.
lying about stuff.
You're a liar. You're a self-admitted liar. You lie all of the goddamn time. We can't believe a single thing that comes out of your mouth. And we're not lying. At worst, we're wrong. And you know that.
For their own gain, you know?
You lie for your own gain. I mean, she lies for her own gain. She lied to keep her reputation intact. She lied so that people would continue to support her. She lied for a variety of reasons. Of course, everybody lies for their own gain. Most people lie because they have something to gain out of it. People don't lie because they're like, oh, this is going to make my life more difficult. Let's do it. They know they're going to get something out of it, and so they lie. Sometimes it's a small lie. Sometimes it's a big lie. But everybody does it, and most people do it for their own benefit, right? So I don't, like, you lied for your own benefit. You lied for 2 months.
In a hotel, Brooke.
Why were you at the hotel, though? You have a house. Because you have a history of engaging in terrible decision-making and drugs. That's why it matters. Your history informs our current opinions. We're not just making this stuff out of nowhere. If you didn't have a history of shady behavior, then we wouldn't be here talking about it right now.
The point of that, I never said I wasn't at a hotel. I never said I was at a hotel. I said there was a weekend. I'm not telling you guys what I did. That's it. Oh yeah, ING, I did. Okay, I got your email. I just didn't reply yet.
So this is where the little gray area for me comes in, right? I've said before that if she doesn't want to talk about something, she should just not mention it. And obviously, she doesn't want to talk about this weekend. The problem herein is this. While I 100% believes that if you don't want to talk about something, you should just not mention it. When you have a history of repeated lying and manipulating and gaslighting and essentially just behaving like a shitty toxic person on the internet, people are much more likely to jump to negative assumptions about you. And it puts me in this weird position where I don't know what she should do. Should she perhaps, I don't know. Should she perhaps like not say anything? Should she perhaps like try and like obfuscate the truth a little bit? Should she just be completely off the grid? Like, what can she do here to both have privacy, but also so that people are reassured that she's not doing anything wrong, right? Like, I do get where she's kind of coming from because it's a difficult position to be in. At the same time, I don't think that people on the other end are exactly wrong. Because when you do have a history of lying, manipulating, gaslighting, and generally just being a garbage dumpster fire of a human person, this is the sort of situation that you will end up in. Like, if I'm not there for a weekend, nobody contacts me and be like, hey, are you doing drugs? No, I don't have an issue with that because I've never given anybody the impression that I spend my weekend doing drugs. But when you have spent your weekend doing drugs, then when you disappear for a while, people might rightfully assume that you've been doing drugs. Like, this is a net result of our own behavior. So I don't really know what to do going forward. If you guys have any better information or better ideas or better opinions on this, leave them down below because I'm honestly am at a loss.
I don't know if I snapped at you or what. I don't remember.
Of course you don't. Never remember your own negative behavior. Just other people's.
No, they're going out of their way to find information that's like, well, I mean, okay, I don't blame people for paying attention because people are curious and nosy and want to know what I did. I can't close this. Oh, I'm not going to bother defending myself. I don't feel like I need to.
Yeah, I'm sure.
People can think what they want.
I'm sure she's never going to say anything about it again.
Show us receipts for what? What receipt? No, that's not how it works. You're accusing me of something stupid. You prove it.
Here's the thing. I believe in innocent until proven guilty, but the problem is that she's already been proven guilty, and now it's a matter of investigating the body of her crimes. So it's like, okay, well, before the accusation was, okay, we have to prove that she's a drug addict. Now she's admitted that she's a drug addict. So now when you come back and say, well, prove that I was doing something wrong. Well, you're a drug addict, and you've already said that drug addicts lie and that you lie. Therefore, I am well within my rights to question everything you say. Sorry, had to cough again. I understand it's a difficult position to be in when you have people who are continuously questioning your behavior, continuously questioning your actions, but you dropped the hammer on your own foot in this situation. I can't help you out of this. The best you can hope for is to keep going forward and to keep displaying good behavior and to keep not having any issues. And then maybe one day in the future, people will feel trusting enough to extend to you that courtesy. Before we found out for sure that you were doing drugs, before that shady behavior started, if you'd gone to a hotel, we would have assumed that you'd gotten a gigolo, right? We wouldn't have assumed that you'd done drugs. Now everything is different after that reveal. And you cannot put Pandora's like monster back into the box. I don't remember how that parable goes. What I mean is you cannot close that box. You already opened the box. You let out all the evils into the world. You cannot take it back. There is no going back from this. And that's what she wants. She wants to just go like, oops, done, erase, I'm over it now. We're no longer going to talk about it. You cannot do that. This revelation changes everything. And whether you're ready for it or not, you have to deal with the consequences of your actions. That's part of being an adult.
No, we can't talk about me getting better because I don't want to talk about that right now.
You never want to talk about you getting better. All you want to do is ignore your problems. That's why you're in the position that you're in now. If you just taken this seriously and actually addressed the issues that you have with food, maybe you wouldn't have progressed to full-blown cocaine addiction.
But I've been doing better and working on it.
Yeah, sure. Of course. I believe you. The woman who stays up all night has endless amounts of energy and won't weigh in for us. Let's not forget. I believe that she's doing much better and that she hasn't been doing cocaine. The self-admitted liar.
Well, medical kitten, it was not easy for me to admit that. Okay, so...
I would agree with that.
I already apologized about that, so I'm moving on from it. If people don't want to move on from it, then don't. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, that smug attitude is really going to be helping. When you've offended people, when you have turned people into liars, when you have taken advantage of people's trust and faith in you, then just saying, well, I'm moving on for it. You did the fuck up. You put people in this position. You don't get to turn around and say, well, forgive me or don't, but either way, I'm done talking about it. No. If you care about their forgiveness, then you have to understand that people are going to take more than, like, say, a week to get over the fact that you've been lying to them about doing cocaine for 2 months, right? It takes people a while. So take your L. You made a mistake. Now you have to live with it. That's how that works. You made the fuck up, and now you have to live with the consequences. You made this bed, and now you have to lie in it. And I mean the reclining in the horizontal position, not what you've been doing. Right? You can't just say, well, forgive me or don't. I don't care. Well, then that means your apology was hollow, because if you don't care about my forgiveness, then you shouldn't have made the apology, which, by the way, she hasn't. She's acting like she gave an apology, and she said that I'm sorry, but she hasn't actually apologized. She said, oh, I did a thing. She never said, I am so sorry that I put everybody in this position, that my actions put you in the position to have to stick up for me and lie for me, all the while knowing that all of what the people were saying about me was actually true. I'm so sorry I did this to you. She's never once said that. Never once taken accountability for what she did to other people, right? So she's acting here like she offered a genuine apology and people are turning it down. Even if they were, people are not obligated to take your apology. That's why when racist people come out and say, oh, those jokes were in the past, I never would do it again. People aren't automatically supposed to forgive them. You are not owed anybody's forgiveness. So this behavior right here is just your toxic entitlement saying that, well, I already sort of admitted that I was doing a wrong thing, so now everybody should forgive me, and when?
You know, honestly, I don't need to hear it every live stream. What's confusing about, I don't want to talk about what I did a certain weekend.
Tough to be you?
Private life too.
No, you don't. You don't have a private life. You don't get to have a private life when you're on stream 24 hours a fucking day talking about your drug addiction. You don't get to turn around, hide parts of your life and say, oh, well, you know what? Now it's private. That's what you're doing. It's not that you never put something up on the channel. It's that you put something up on the channel and turning around and say, well, I no longer want to talk about it. Sucks to be you. You open the box. You got to buy what's in it now.
You're driving 4 hours back and forth for fast food. So? Who cares?
It's a weird thing to do.
You?
It's a weird thing to do.
Why does that bother you how far I drive for food?
It's because it's a very objectively odd thing to do. Either you're lying about why you're going, or you're not lying and you have even more issues with food than we previously thought. Escaping your life to go eat in a different city is not the hallmarks of a healthy person. It's not even like she's vlogging about it. We don't know anything about the restaurant other than its name. We don't even know what the food fucking tastes like.
Excuse me. Where's downtown?
Sorry, you should have cut that out.
Am I on downtown right now?
See, this is what I mean about why I don't think she actually did any research or came out here to eat at this specific place. She doesn't even know if she's close to downtown, right? She's like, oh, I picked a place, I saw it. If you're looking up things, if you're looking up a restaurant, you would at least be somewhat aware of its history. And one of the things in there would be whether or not it's in downtown, or if it's like a hole in the wall diner in the middle of nowhere. She didn't do anything. I don't think she even did anything. And this place is very unassuming. I think she genuinely just went to go meet somebody up for a little bit of something else. And she saw this place and she decided, let's go here. Might as well, right?
You want to just drive around? Alright. There's a lot of good food here, Florida Kilos. Plus I love the drive. I just feel like going for long drives.
Yeah. It's because I said before, she doesn't have the physical ability to do it, so she likes to get in the car to give her that simulated sense of going somewhere, both psychologically and like actually physically. Psychologically, it gives her like a sort of sense of moving forward in her life, of going somewhere, of getting somewhere and accomplishing something. Because when you do the long drive and you get to a new city, you can say, I drove to Montreal today, right? That's a thing you could put on your I accomplished this list, even if it wasn't really a thing you should have been trying to accomplish to begin with.
Look at when I go all the way to my hometown just to go for a walk. Like, I love driving.
Yeah, because you have a weird attachment to it.
I tell you guys about something, like my weekend or whatever, people try to figure out what I was doing. I don't care, like, I'm not, like, trying to, I'm just not talking about, like, every little single thing.
So that's pretty much the end of her video. I put that last little bit in because she talks once again. She's like, well, I don't know why everybody's acting like this. Like, she's shocked all of a sudden by people's behavior. I don't know. I am honestly, like, I understand. Addiction is not easy. Addiction is a difficult thing to get over, to overcome. It requires a lot of strength of character that Chantal has never once shown in her entire life. So when she says that she is, overcome it, that she was addicted for a short period of time but has no longer done it, that she somehow managed to conquer it all on her lonesome, I feel very skeptical about believing her. That said, I do hope that she is not lying. I do hope that she has actually kicked the habit, because genuinely, this is a very frightening thing. Still, the proof is going to be in the pudding. Eventually, she's going to weigh in. Eventually, there's going to be some sort of slip up. Eventually, she's either going to admit it or, maybe she starts gaining weight back. Either way, we'll find out. That 70-pound weight loss that we have, I genuinely think is the biggest indication of whether or not she's still doing drugs. Because she does her next weigh-in and she's lost another 25 pounds. We know that she's still on drugs. There is no possible way that Chantal is losing weight while eating the way that she's currently eating. So she's either still doing the drugs and she's losing the weight, or she stopped taking the drugs and her weight's going to start climbing back up. Either way, I'll be here for it. I'll probably put out another Chantal video this week. That's probably going to be covering her rage-filled Greek food video. So look out for that, probably coming to you tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you guys hated this video, you can go ahead and give me a thumbs down. That's totally okay. I respect everybody's opinions here. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hit the notification bell down below and hit all if you want to know when I upload any videos right away. As always, all my social medias are linked down below. I've got Instagram, where, I'm a little toxic and a little petty. I've got Twitter, where, well, not Instagram. Well, actually, no. I'm toxic and petty on Twitter. I'm pretty okay on Instagram. It's just my food stuff and life stuff. But I've also got Patreon. Think of Patreon as the tip jar for the internet. If you like the job that I'm doing here and you'd like me to continue, consider tossing a few coins in my direction. Genuinely, everything you give me goes directly back into this channel. It makes a huge difference. And as you guys know, I'm saving up to buy a good camera and some sound equipment, because I really, really want to record in higher quality, especially the sound, because I know a lot of ambient noise is a problem here. Like if my AC is going off or something, it's like an absolute mess. So anything you do, anything you give would be helpful, but still, it's not required, and I would appreciate anyone who did. I want to give a special shout out to my $25 patron, D. Higgins. Thank you, girl. I love you. You're the one that's single-handedly keeping me in sparkling water. As always, I'm Jasmine, the sequel, and I am not relatable. Peace. A special thank you to my patrons, Acrophobe, Ariel M, Christina, Courtney EP, Wild Rose, Santhal, Jam Beans, Lauren Chris, Debbie Elliott, Juliet Q, Just a Jude, Kate O, and a special thank you to my $25 patron, D. Higgins.